You know those puzzles that seem totally impossible at first, but then with just one little shift in how you look at them, the answer just clicks into place? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with the Painted Cube puzzle. Let's get right to it.
So here's the deal. Picture a big 5 by 5 by 5 cube. We take that whole thing and dip it in a bucket of paint, so every single side on the outside is covered. Then we slice it all up into 125 tiny identical cubes. Now, the big question is, how many of those little cubes have paint on exactly 2 of their faces?
Okay, so how do we even begin to tackle this? We can't just start guessing, right? We need a plan. And the very first step is to get familiar with the different kinds of pieces we're working with. Let's take a look at the basic anatomy of our cube.
Just so we're all on the same page, we're calling our main object the big cube. It's that 5 by 5 by 5 grid painted on the outside, and it's made up of those 125 smaller cubes inside. This is our puzzle board.
Let's start with the basics. Every cube has 6 faces. Super simple. For our puzzle, it's these 6 outer faces of the big cube that get all the paint. This is piece number 1 of our puzzle anatomy. Now, it gets a little more interesting. A cube has 12 edges. You know, the lines where 2 of the faces meet up. Now, I want you to remember that number, 12. Tuck it away for later, because it is going to be super important. And finally, we've got the corners. There are 8 of them, and that's where 3 faces all come together at a single point. So we've got our pieces: faces, edges, and corners. Simple enough, right?
All right, anatomy lesson is over. We've got our building blocks down, so now we can actually start the hunt. If you were a little cube with exactly 2 painted faces, where on this big cube would you live?
And here it is. This is the single biggest clue, the real aha moment of this whole puzzle. The cubes we're looking for, the ones with just 2 painted sides, can only be found on the edges. That's it. They're not floating in the middle of a face, and they're not on the corners. This one little fact just narrowed our search down tremendously.
Right, so that's a huge step forward, but it leads to the next logical question, doesn't it? An edge on our big cube is made of 5 little cubes all in a row. So are all 5 of them the ones we want?
Well, not quite. Think about it for a second. The 2 little cubes on the ends of any edge, what are they? They're also corner cubes. And by definition, a corner is where 3 faces meet. So those corner pieces actually have 3 painted faces, not 2. That means the cubes we want are the ones on the edges that aren't corners.
So let's break that down. Just pick any single edge on the cube. It's a line of 5 small cubes, right? Now, we just lop off the 2 cubes on the ends because those are our corner pieces with 3 painted faces. So what's left? 5 minus those 2 leaves us with 3 cubes. And those 3 cubes, sitting in the middle of the edge, are our targets. They're the ones with exactly 2 painted faces.
Okay, we are so close. We figured out how many target cubes are on one single edge, and we have all the other info we need. It is time to put it all together for the final, simple calculation.
So we've just established, for sure, that every single edge has exactly 3 cubes that fit what we're looking for, 2 painted faces. And hey, remember that number I told you to keep in your back pocket? A cube has 12 edges, and the logic we just used for one edge, it works for all 12 of them.
And this is where it all clicks. We've got 12 edges, and each of those edges has 3 of the cubes we want. So we just do the math. 12 times 3 is 36. That's it. That's our answer. There are exactly 36 little cubes with 2 painted faces. So what did we really learn here? Well, first, a cube's location is everything. Where it sits determines how many painted sides it has. Second, we discovered that our 2-faced cubes have a very specific home. They're always on the edges, but they're never, ever corners. And really, the biggest lesson is that sometimes a problem that seems really complex can be solved by just breaking it down into smaller, simpler parts.
So we found our 36 2-faced cubes. Awesome. But that's not all 125 of them, is it? So what about the rest? Using the exact same kind of thinking, could you figure out how many have only 1 face painted? Or what about the ones hidden deep inside with no paint on them at all? The puzzle isn't over yet.